welcome to Strip Club. Good morning. Today we bring you our patriotic quilt. It's called Long May She Wave. Do you love it?
Yes.
It does use 2.5-inch strips. And it uses the strip tube ruler. One of these days, I have done the strip tube ruler so many times I'm not going to actually need to use words. Today's not that day. I'm sure my husband's going, you've never not been able to know. So here we have in this quilt, we use 40 different red 2.5-inch strips.
Wow.
So the waves are created with 2.5-inch strips. I'll show you how to do it. And then I need additional strips for the blue. That only takes 6 additional blue strips to make the star. So the bundle that we have is 40 different red 2.5-inch strips. If you don't want to make this quilt, you know how beautiful red and white quilts can be. And so the bundle would just be red strips. Maybe you can put it into a different project if you don't want to make this one. But this one is so wonderful, isn't it? So I'll show you how to put it together. The first thing you need are those strips in the background. Background here is a nice crisp white, just to set that blue. You could go a little more tea stained, a little more creamy, and you'd have a quilt that looks a little more antique right off the bat. But for us, we chose the crisp white because it matches my outfit. Okay, first thing we'll do is take those 2.5-inch strips of red and sew them together to make a strip set. It is the tube technique. You know we love the tube technique. This is the back of 2 strips sewn together. They are different strips, and if you'll notice closely in the quilt, you'll see that there's a lot of different little bits of movement in the reds. So when you pick your reds, or when you pick your fabrics, make sure that there's a little different activity, different print going on in each of the reds. Here we have 20 different fabrics, 2 of each. And you see, here I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here there's a little, it looks like a, I can't remember the name of the line, but it's a little black in here. Here we have a little white flower. Here we actually have bold script on red. We have polka dots, red on red. Here's a sort of black circle on red. So you see there's a little different sort of ditzy print in each of the different fabrics. So now we'll sew 2 of the red strips together to make a strip set. To that, we will sew right sides together a background strip. And we'll sew it on the left, on the top and the bottom to make a tube. Strip tube. What we need next is the strip tube ruler. A fabulous strip tube ruler. I was just looking over our patterns. I think 5 out of the last 6 patterns use the tube ruler. So if you don't have it, it's good, right? It's time to get it. Put the designated line on the bottom stitching line of your tube. Bottom stitching line of your tube, cut up and cut down to cut out a triangle. You guys know how this works, right? So are you ready?
Yep.
So the triangle looks a little like this from your strip set. When you pull it away from your strip set, you open it up, you'll get a diagonally pieced square that looks like that.
Brilliant!
Next time you cut off of the top stitching line. If you don't know my $10 tip, I'll give it to you now and I'll collect the fee on your way out the door. When you cut off of the top stitching line, it's a hard angle to cut, so the next time you cut, flip your strip set around. And now what was your top stitching line now becomes your bottom stitching line, so you can keep the ruler in exactly the same place, cut up and cut down. It'll open up to a strip or to a square, almost similar to that. The only difference is your fabrics are in a different placement. So this wonderful polka dot print now goes to the corner, and you can't see it, but that's probably, maybe you can't. That's a red on red houndstooth, and that print goes to the large piece. So that's the difference when you cut. Go up and down the tube, get as many triangles that open into squares as you can out of a strip set. Collect them all and make a pile. These will become your waves. So I'll show you how the wave is created. See how we have 2? They're basically half square triangle blocks. And we have 2 sewn together like that. And now we'll have, the best thing to do is to lay out your pieces and then collect them in rows. and then sew your rows together.
There.
So now you see the wave is coming together. It's coming to life, right? And you can also see how the different red prints create the movement and the interest within the reds. Okay, need one more there and finish it off. So you see how the wave comes together. It's just half square triangles to create it. When we sew it together, and I'll show you how to do the star in just a moment. When we sew it together, we're going to sew these rows together as one section, and then all of these red rows together as another section. To these rows, the top ones, we are going to add the blue star. The star is done in exactly the same way. Tube technique, you sew the strips together, and then you put those right sides together to create the tube. Only now, we're using blues and backgrounds. And the different blocks that we need will be one that is blue on blue. So on one side of the tube, it's 2 blue print strips. On the other side, it's another 2 blue print strips to get a total of 4 different fabrics diagonally pieced. And then the other piece we need is blue on white, just like the blue on red that we did. With those 2 different blocks, you can create your star. Do you see the star? Mm-hmm. So follow with me. This is a half square triangle, blue on white. This is blue on blue. This is blue on white. Then we have a white segment in between, the exact same quadrant on this side, and in the middle is a blue on blue diagonally pieced square for the center. So that's how the star comes together. Now in this quilt, there's 3 different sizes. All have the same body, top to bottom flag. They all have the same body, and then the sizes vary by the number of borders. This is the queen version. We have white, blue, red, blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different borders on it. For the smaller size, you stop at border 2. For the twin, you stop at border 4. So that's how we grow this quilt into larger sizes. Long may she wave is pretty.
It's pretty.
So you know, we often show you a different colorway. But what do you do other than red, white, and blue? So Barb, we call this the Barb option, said, well, what if we did it as waves? Waves? Tell me more. What if we put something else in the corner, not a star? So we call this the Barb option. It's a great option, isn't it? So now we have wonderfully bright, vibrant aqua fabrics on white, and instead of a star in the corner, we have an applique sailboat. Now the pattern, which you can get at your local quilt shop, since we are your local quilt shop, you have it from us. The pattern has the pieces to make the sailboat. So if you love the sailboat, and who doesn't, right? We have the row by row experience coming up. 2,500 shops participating across the United States and Canada. And the theme is H2O, water. Oh, right. So now you have the sailboat pieces, and you notice we only go to border 2 with the quilt. Nice, isn't it? We happen to have those strips available if you love it. And we have the fabrics available for the applique sailboat. So this is the Barb option, turning patriotic into something summery, fun, bright. And you can see how easy it is. The pattern is uses the strip tube ruler or strip tube junior. So this one is junior friendly. If you don't have junior yet, now is a good excuse to get it. The big one does everything the little guy does. The little one's just easier for these smaller cuts. And this is one of the smaller cuts it's good for. So long may she wave. Any questions? No questions? Because it's that easy, right?
Right.
Okay, well that's long may she wave. And if you guys would like to come back next month, I'll have another pattern that uses 2.5 inch strips. Yay.